All right, so this is the machining process so far, and it's come along pretty good. The rough machining and adaptive paths are complete. So what we're going to do now is do the finishing passes. All right, so I finished the machining process for the body pieces, and everything came out pretty darn good. This is what it looks like, but for the most part, it's done. We just have to cut the tabs. So for cutting tabs, I use this oscillating saw. It has this kind of, I don't know, about a 2-inch little blade, and it just oscillates, and it's the perfect depth for me to kind of get in there. I'll go from behind, obviously, like this, and cut those tabs. So this typically works really well with wood. Never done with bamboo. So this is what we'll use to cut the tabs, and then we'll have our individual pieces ready. So I took the pieces out of the frame and I removed the tabs from each one of these pieces. My process for that is pretty simple. I start with a chisel. The bamboo is surprisingly soft. The chisel works into it just like wood, so there's no difference there. And then I use the rotating oscillating spindle sander, and I just basically sand those tabs out so that they're pretty much invisible. Now, the reason why this guitar is in pieces and not an entire one-piece body is to be able to fit it on that bamboo board. This wouldn't have been possible. A normal guitar body wouldn't fit on a cutting board unless it's a very, very oversized cutting board. So what I did was I was able to rearrange these pieces, right? Rearrange them and make them fit in a way so that they could actually all be contained in that frame. So the whole point of using the bamboo cutting board was that it is already finished. It's got this kind of resin finish, right? And I don't think it needs to be sand. And then I don't think I'm going to stain it. My intention was to use the crimson stain and stain it all black, just everything be black. But it looks so cool. It's so different. Like, it's so different. There's nothing like it. Like, I haven't seen anything like this, and it's just so cool to look at. So yes, this is not comfortable for a guitarist. In fact, this is the arm carve here, right? This is where your arm will go. I designed this arm carve to be concave So it's not designed to be smooth, and it's not designed to slope in a manner that fits the anatomy of a human arm. The shadows and the lights are what's important, and not necessarily your arm. Sorry. Let's move on to the carbon fiber back. So the beautiful thing about this project was, one, we're kind of recycling some very odd material like a cutting board, but we're also using off-the-shelf products. These are off-the-shelf products that can be easily sourced. I got my carbon fiber tubes from Amazon for the neck, and I have my carbon fiber back also from Amazon. This is 500 by 500 millimeters, so it's a square, and it's 5 mil thick. I opted for the matte finish. So the matte finish is also the finish I chose for the carbon fiber tubes. And it has two protective layers on the front and the back. So there's this kind of clear film on it. We're going to machine with the film on. That way, when we're done machining and we have our finished piece, we can peel protective piece off and we have this perfectly finished material. So this is going to be really awesome. I was worried that 5 mil wouldn't be rigid enough. This thing is, well, one, it's heavy, very heavy, but it's very rigid. So far, so good on the carbon fiber back. The only thing we need to do now is make the control cavity cover, and we'll be using this corner here to build the cover. Be peck drilling some holes for the M3 bolts and doing the contour, so it's just 2 operations. This was arguably the scariest part of this whole project, which is gluing the carbon fiber tube neck into the body. All right, so this is going to sit for 24 hours here. These are the Easy Lock M5 threaded inserts we'll be using. made out of brass. I essentially machined about an 11mm hole in the bamboo. So the idea is they have these threads that bite into the wood. But a lot of times when you're putting these in, they'll kind of go in skewed. So I wanted the holes to be slightly larger than normal to ensure that this fits in there perfectly, because these are all about precision. These are my locator bolts and they need to be precise. The way that I've figured out how to put these in so that they're in there perfectly is to not just start off like this, but to actually look at it from above, from like a bird's eye view. Because if you can see that inner hole skewed in any way, you know you're going in the wrong way. You don't want to just start turning, because immediately it'll be turning in and it'll be going in skewed. So you want to look at it from above. And that's how I start off the thread. And once I start it off, I'm able to then just use a screwdriver. So let's go ahead and do that. And it goes in fairly easy because I oversized the holes on purpose. You just want to make sure it's completely beneath the actual hole. That's what it should look like. And I have both of them in already.
So this is a good place to stop. Install the bridge. The next thing to do is just simply place the nut in, file the slots, and shape it. I'll do that off camera. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.